What's up, guys? Penguin Overlord here, and welcome back to Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So I just wanted to make a quick update video on how I prefer to kill Behemoth drones, because a lot has changed in Ghost Recon Breakpoint since I made that original video back in October or so. So let's get started. So basically, my general strategy nowadays is that I'll run up to the Behemoth drone, throw an EMP grenade at it. That will shut it down for quite a bit of time. Then I'll destroy either its front armor or back armor, depending on where it is facing, where I'm facing it. And I'll just keep shooting at it until it breaks off, shoot the orange lights. When the Behemoth drone starts to wake up again, I'll hit the blue light that's right underneath the orange light and destroy that. That'll stun the Behemoth drone, and then I'll finish it off shooting at the orange lights until it is completely destroyed. Simple enough. So basically, to accomplish this, I'm using two LMGs, usually the Stoner LMG and the Mark 48. Now, there's two reasons why I do this. One, you have two different ammo types. So I've got one LMG in 5.56 and one in 7.62. You don't necessarily have to use these specific LMGs, but I do use them because they're two different types of ammo. So that way, once you switch to your second LMG, you won't be short on ammo, especially if you're just loading into the game. That could be a serious issue if you're using two LMGs with the same ammo type. Also, another reason is that I use 150 round mag capacities. That's what's available for these LMGs. So basically, you spend less time reloading, which with the LMGs, they can take quite a long time to reload. So you definitely want to avoid that as much as possible. You'll also be able to deal out less damage because you'll be busy reloading, which is one reason why I don't use the Goblin against the Behemoth drones, because it just takes too long to kill it. Even with the extended 50 round magazine, you'll be constantly reloading. The Behemoth drone will wake up and it just won't be good for you. So I recommend two LMGs. That'll just make your life a lot easier when fighting them. As far as the perks go, I generally use Ballistic Advantage for extra handling. Not super necessary, but it's nice. Gunslinger for extra accuracy and handling, which will help control the recoil, so that way your shots don't go super wild. And Sensor Hack for extra damage to drones. Now, as far as classes go, I generally use the Panther class because of the cloaking spray. This basically makes you invisible to drones for 60 seconds, so that means the Behemoth drone won't detect you and start shooting its miniguns at you, which can cause a significant problem for you if you're playing with other classes. Now, that's not to say that other classes can't be effective when you're fighting Behemoth drones. Assault and Engineer also work well, but Panther's more ideal because you don't have to worry about getting burned down with your with the Behemoth's LMGs. And also, it's just more versatile because you don't have to worry about cover. You can just run up to the Behemoth drone and just start shooting at it, which makes for a faster Behemoth kill and just in general resource farming time. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I just do want to say that Assault does work well for killing Behemoth drones because of the True Grit technique. You just got to make sure you don't get too badly hurt by the miniguns and that you don't get blown up by rockets. Engineer also works well because of its inherent damage to drones. Perk, you can actually finish off a Behemoth drone in under without expending the whole magazine if you're using Engineer, so that is an advantage. Other classes generally don't really help you out that much. Sharpshooter is not as great as it would seem, even with the Armor Buster technique. Yes, you can do a whole bunch of damage per shot, but you have to reload frequently, and it's just too slow. You'll have to run around and maneuver around the arena. It doesn't work very well. And of course, the other classes, Echelon and Field Medic, they don't really do anything for you either in regards to the Behemoth drone fight. So yeah, I definitely recommend using Panther. That's just going to be the easiest, especially if you're in immersive mode and you're running one LMG. That's just going to make life a lot easier for you. As far as areas where I like to farm Behemoth drones, I generally stick with one area in particular. So at the south of Mount Hodgson, right on the border between Mount Hodgson and Silent Mountain, there's a Behemoth defense area that is really close to a bivouac. So you can basically spawn at the bivouac, quickly run over to the Behemoth defense area, kill it quickly, then run back, so that way when you log out of the game and log back in, you could spawn in back at that bivouac and just keep farming it over and over again very, very quickly. This is the best area to farm a Behemoth drone. The other areas usually take you a little while to get there. This is another close one over here, but you still gotta go like about 600 meters to get to the Behemoth defense area. There's just not as many Behemoth defense areas that are as close to a bivouac as this one, so that's the one I recommend farming Behemoth drones at. Now, in the last title update 2.0.0, there was a new Behemoth drone added to the game called the Behemoth, and what it does is, you may have seen it in the 2 birds 1 stone mission, and it basically shoots out gas grenades instead of rockets. And now that they've been added to the game, they randomly show up in the Behemoth drone areas. So sometimes you'll get a Behemoth that fires rockets, and sometimes you will get a Behemoth drone that fires the gas grenades. They're really not that huge of a deal, because the gas grenades are less lethal as long as you can get out of the area in time, whereas the rockets will just blow you up. I just find them really annoying because they can shoot, the Behemoth drones can shoot a bunch of gas grenades at once and just really cut off areas to maneuver in if you're not playing as Panther with the cloaking spray. If you are playing as Panther, you can usually just blow them up quickly so you won't have to deal with the gas grenades. Other things to note, one discovery that I made that I did not include in the Behemoth drone video is that if you're fighting a Behemoth drone in a mission, it has much less health than the regular Behemoth drones in the game, even when accounting for gear score. In fact, I've been playing in Immersive mode, of course, and I found that I think it's either 1/3 to 1/2. The Behemoth drones have 1/3 to 1/2 of the health of the regular Behemoth drones in the game. That came out a bit jumbled, but whatever, you know what I mean. The Behemoth drones in missions have less health, is what I'm trying to say. So that's kind of interesting. It does make them easier to kill. I kind of wish they would buff it a little bit, though, since it would make the fight a little bit more challenging. As of now, I can generally just burn them down very easily, and I don't know. I'd like it if they'd have more health, but I can understand why other people might not necessarily like that. One last thing. Let's talk about Immersive mode versus gear score mode, because obviously, how does this change with the Immersive mode? So if we go to the map, obviously there's no gear score, so you can basically go to any Behemoth drone defense area whenever you want, pick up whatever you want after blowing it up or sneaking by it, and you don't have to worry about gear score. So there's less of that artificial challenge in the game. Of course, it will take a little bit slower to kill Behemoth drones since you don't have tiered weaponry with the plus damage to drones bonus, which can be very useful, especially once you get up to the elite setting. That's like kind of the yellow tier of loot in the game. That can be very useful for taking out Behemoth drones, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. You can still do plenty of damage to Behemoths in Immersive mode. One other difference is that even though, of course, in gear score mode, you'll get 40 metal parts and tiered loot. Obviously, there's no tiered loot in the Immersive mode, but you will be compensated for this by getting extra metal parts. So generally, 80 metal parts for Immersive mode and 40 plus tiered loot for Immersive mode. So you're getting more metal parts overall. You're just not getting any tiered weapon parts, like the advanced weapon parts or stuff like that. I think that covers it for this. I think that's all the updates that I wanted to cover in this video. In general, just use the Panther class, drone spray, 2 LMGs, and you'll have a good, and of course EMP grenades, and you'll be able to kill them easily. Generally speaking, I can kill them under 20 seconds, and that's if I do a bad job. I can usually kill them under 11 seconds. Oh, one more thing. I did want to mention with gear score, it obviously does make an impact on the game. So if you do try to fight a Behemoth drone that's significantly under your current gear score, it'll be much harder for you because you will do less damage to it. However, if you do play the raid and you get up to 300 gear score, you can kill them very quickly. I did mention it in a previous video, but yeah, we're talking like 4 seconds if you have 300 gear score. It's absurd. It's hilarious. It is funny how fast you can kill them, but honestly, it just kind of becomes a little less fun for me. So I generally don't go into gear score mode to farm Behemoth Drones. I'll just be in immersive mode because I find immersive mode to be more fun. But anyway, I've rambled long enough. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helped you guys out with farming these things. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Penguin Overlord, and I will catch you all next time. Take care, guys.